Come on, guys. ChaseWins.com coming to you for Tuesday, the 20th of October. Off to another week. And like I said in yesterday's video, good to be back. Now, it is still Monday night. It is actually just now almost 8 o'clock, 5 till 8. But I'm doing this video early because we're going to do something a little bit different this week. Being that we've got, this time of year before college basketball gets started and things like that, which we've got college basketball just right around the corner, which I cannot wait for, which I think is going to be, we're going to have a huge advantage in college basketball this year because we're still going to have, there's going to be some games we don't have this year, I'm sure. I'm sure there's going to be some of the much smaller schools that most certainly don't rely on athletics to bring in a huge chunk of their revenue. I'm sure you're going to have some teams like that can't afford to bubble up, can't afford to, you know, travel teams or even host games when they cannot bring in revenue. So the only thing they're going to be able to rely on is how much money can they make from TV, which for a lot of these small time schools is nothing, and how much can they make from getting paid from bigger time schools to essentially go be their punching bag for two halves. And even though, yes, some of these bigger name schools like a North Carolina or a Duke or a Kentucky, someone like that, would still pay a school, which, granted, I'll give kudos to both North Carolina and Duke. They don't do it as much as you would think. Most of the time, schools will come do that to get the exposure and to get the experience of playing somewhere like Chapel Hill. But take Kentucky for example, a school that spends $3.5 million a year just to other schools to be able to go bag anywhere from 3 to 6 wins, depending on how many they're going to, what they're going to pay. This year, that amount's probably going to go down to 30%. So is it worth, a university for what they can make off of doing that to still try to have to play a conference schedule or whatever? But you're still going to have your big conferences. They're going to bubble up. They're going to play. I think it's going to be a successful season. And being that the NBA and NHL will get pushed back a little bit, I think the NHL more so than anything, we are going to get to focus even more on college basketball. And everybody knows what we do in college basketball every year. Everybody knows me as the MLB king. That's not going anywhere. And even though we have immense success in every sport, turn a profit in every sport every year, and even if you just picked one out of a hat and played it for the season, if you follow direction, play it the right way, and truly get in the mindset of investing and not betting on sports, you will have a successful year no matter what. Take all that out, and everybody knows that the most damage we do outside of baseball is always in college basketball. Number one, for the amount of games and the length of the season versus a college football or even the NFL, because you're really consolidating things into one day most of the time versus being able to play it every day. So I think we're going to have a huge advantage this year. We'll be talking about, once I get a few more details on what conferences are going to start what day, how they're going to bubble it up, things like that, we'll go ahead and release the information for our college basketball season. But anyway, what we're going to do different this week, since we are going to have so much action this weekend in the NFL and college football. We've got the World Series going on this week, and I've got some top plays coming in. I've got a top play on Tuesday night, which will probably be posted on the website by the time you see this. I'm going to start, instead of giving a free play and trying to force a free play on the same game, just on if we're going to play the total, giving a free play on the side, or if we're going to play the side, trying to give a free play on the total and trying to force something, I'm going to start giving you free plays for this weekend. And we're going to try to focus on underdogs. Now, granted, there'll be some favorites thrown in there too, but like today, for instance, I'm going to give you two free underdogs. One's going to be a premium play, a normal, true free play underdog for Saturday college football. And then I'm going to give you one underdog for Friday, which isn't something that I'll bet normally on. I've already got just a little bit of fun money on it. It could, that amount could raise over the week, but we'll just see. But it is something that caught my eye, and I do have a little something on it, so you can take that for what it is. Can't do a full recap. Obviously, we only had two games today. One was the free play. That game hasn't started yet. It starts in just over 20 minutes now. But one premium play is wrapping up, Still got a few minutes left, just under 2 minutes, but I know that it's over because Buffalo's out of timeouts. We took Kansas City -5.5. They're up by 9. They've got the ball, and there's no timeouts for Buffalo, so they can just, take a knee and in this one. Why anybody would be on board with taking Buffalo this week after watching Kansas City take a rare loss last week, having 2 extra days to prepare, having the news of Le'Veon Bell coming in, and that just being another motivator. Sometimes in professional leagues, guys, NFL, NBA, NHL, just the news of something happening before it even actually happens can change a lot of things for good or bad. You look at the Texans firing their head coach and GM, since he's one and the same, because he was a walking useless person. That right there, even though that team is still what it is, and they're not very good, and I don't expect them to be good, look at what it did just for the way the team went out there and played and rallied around each other, because they're not playing for someone they despise so much. Made a big difference, right? We capitalized on that last week. You look at what Atlanta did. Same thing. I don't know that it was Dan Quinn being fired that did it, but I think it lit a fire under everyone, coaching staff, trainers, even players, like a Matt Ryan that goes, because we don't know what the clauses are in his contract are. We don't know if he's going to go out there and play his twilight years on the bench if he can't get out of Atlanta and they're not willing to keep putting him in because he makes poor decisions. So a lot of that goes into it. But anyways, what I was saying in that is just the news of Le'Veon Bell coming in, obviously, even though I don't think that's the right move for Kansas City, not because I don't think it's a good move, I don't think it's a needed move. I don't think Kansas City needed him or anyone else. I think the smarter move, looking long term, because of what you spent on Patrick Mahomes and what you spent on some defensive pieces to be around for the long haul, would have gone out there, taken 2 prospects, someone that you could have gotten long term, that would have each been, I'd say 60-40 odds. 60% chance that they're going to pan out and be a long-term success, 40% chance that they may be a bust after 2 years. Spend a little bit of money, lock them down because nobody's willing to do it yet because they need to prove themselves for a couple of more years. You lock them down to something long-term. If something happens and it doesn't end up working out, you wasted a lot less money. And if they do pan out, but you figure, okay, we don't necessarily need them, we could do better, we could get money for them, you actually make money while still having key pieces that can earn you that leverage. So, but anyway, I think that it was a good move they made at this time, just to get that extra bit of, kick in the ass, to go out there and say, hey, all the more reason why there's no way we shouldn't be right back in it for a championship this year. So we took them -5.5. That was an easy call. Had it not been for just a few little unknowns leading all the way up to the game, I would have released that as a top play, but it was just too close to game time before some questions were answered, so it was left at a premium play and released there. And then, of course, we got the free play, which you guys can go back and watch, and you'll know if that one won. So we had a special going on Monday, 7 days for $70. So $10 a day gets you every premium and daily top play in all sports. The only thing it does not include is any games of the week, month, or year, if we have some, and we will have at least one this week I know of. And you won't get Patrick's NASCAR. But other than that, you get everything. Usually, that's a normal $100 price every week. And to be honest with you, that's way too cheap. We could easily sell that week pass for $250 without hesitation. But we keep it at $100. But this week, or this Monday, we were doing it for $70 as a promo for getting back into the normal swing of things, my videos and stuff. And I noticed that because I didn't get to release the video till a little bit later because of just so much to do today with getting back into the normal, office routine and stuff, that I know a lot of people probably didn't get to take advantage. I've got people emailing me like wildfire right now saying, hey, I'm at work, I can't do it, I can't yeah, I can't do it on their Wi-Fi. I have to be at home or out of here. So it'll be after midnight. So I'm going to extend it until Tuesday. Now, it's only going to go until 6 p.m. So at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, the price will automatically go back up. It's not me changing it. It's going to happen automatically. So if you want to get 7 full days of plays, all premium and daily top play, for $10 a day, $70. Go to chasewins.com. You do not have to get a special code. Don't click on a special link. Just click on the 1 week pass where it usually says $100. The price has changed and will be that way for just a little under the next 24 hours. Okay, so now that that's all that we can do for today, let's get on 2 free plays. Let's talk about it. The main free play that I want to talk about is on Saturday, and it's Cincinnati versus SMU. Cincinnati's on the road at SMU. SMU right now is laying 3. I've seen a couple of 2.5s. I saw 2.5 at Bovada, and I saw a 2.5 at hold on, where else did I see a 2.5 at? My bookie. Other than that, everything across Vegas has SMU laying 3, and then most other offshore books that are recognizable names also have it at 3. I'm going to take the 3 points with Cincinnati for a couple of reasons. But number one, Cincinnati is one of those teams that do not play like a completely different team on the road. They play like themselves. Teams like SMU, teams like Tulsa, teams like Florida Atlantic, teams like Houston, that's a huge one. They could go out there and play like a top 10 team at home against anybody in the world, and then they go on the road and they couldn't play like a top 50 team against an FCS school that hasn't won more than 5 games in the last decade. It's just like they flip a switch. If you actually break this game down, even though SMU has a lot more miles on them this year, they've gone out there, they're 5-0. What is Cincinnati? 3-0 or 3-1? So SMU obviously has had more playing time, and this year that actually does mean a lot. But if you look at the level of competition where you would say it's about dead even, I think where the odds makers are getting at is they're saying the level of competition that both teams have placed have been dead even. On top of that, you've got a team that's played 1 more game or 2 more games, has won 2 more games, and they're playing at home. So why would you not give it to them? But yet, I've noticed that the odds makers in all of these mid-majors, and even most of the Power Fives, they are still giving 3 points for home field. And in a normal year, I'm okay with that. I don't care what the situation is, but not this year. If you're talking about Georgia, or if you're talking about Clemson, if you're talking about South Carolina, if you're talking about even Alabama, where they're talking, we have 25% capacity. You're not going to tell me that Georgia was not packed at 50% or above capacity against Auburn. You can tell me that they were. I can see with my own 2 eyes that you'd be full of shit. And I don't care. I wish they would pack the thing to the gills and have standing room only filled. I am so sick of this COVID nonsense destroying what we love. But nevertheless, until you're going to pack a stadium to where noise and crowd and just home field can actually mean something other than the fact that you didn't travel, it's not worth 3 points. It's worth 1 point. And in these mid-majors, sometimes it's worth nothing. I'll give SMU a point for this one based on the facts that I just gave prior to and the fact that they're not traveling. But prior to that, take it out, say it was on a neutral field, anything, I've actually got Cincinnati as a 2-point favorite. Or a 2.5, actually. If I just gave them the half-point benefit of the doubt and only gave them 2, and then we gave them 3 points, then what would that mean? 3 points for home field. That Cincinnati should be catching 1, not 3. I think they deserve 1 point for home field advantage. And that right there would mean that even if I was conservative and said that Cincinnati was only 2-point favorites and I rounded down, which I'm not going to, I see Cincinnati should be favored by 2.5. Take away 1 point for being on the road. They should be favored by 1.5, and they're catching a field goal. They're catching a field goal in a game that they can very well win outright, and a game I think they will win outright. If you talk about the key playmakers on both sides of the ball offensively, Cincinnati, slight edge. Talk about the key playmakers on defense. Cincinnati, key slight edge in some of your secondary positions. On the line, I see a very big advantage with Cincinnati, especially with returning starters. Then, on top of that, you take that into consideration, and then you take both these teams in, and we'll throw a hypothetical situation that says that one of these teams jumps out early to a 14-point lead. What does each team do with it? SMU tends to play the same style ball. Cincinnati tends to take a few more risks that are very well. I mean, how do you want to word this? They should be taken. And that usually takes them from a 14-point lead to a 21 to 28-point lead, just like that in any circumstance that they play, where they can jump out to the lead early. If they don't and they take the lead late, they play smart ball, and they worry just as much about utilizing and burning clock as they do scoring points, where SMU is the exact opposite. They start playing hurry up at the end, and they don't worry about how important it is to burn minutes and how that's just as valuable and important as it is to ensure you put points on the board. All signs lead to Cincinnati being able to come in as a road dog and outright win. I will gladly take the field goal. If you are getting 2.5 points in this situation, you are not getting 3. You are welcome to take the 2.5 points. I'd bet just a little bit smaller on it. Or if you can get good odds and not pay over $1.15, $1.20, you can buy it up to 3. Because 3 is the magic number here. At 3, this game is a premium play. And I like Cincinnati plus 3 on the road at SMU. And I like them to come in and win outright. But right now, just with the volatility of the market, as well as how this football season has gone and will continue to go, moneyline plays are becoming less and less valuable because points in your pocket are becoming more valuable than what they would normally be. So Cincinnati plus 3, that is your free play for a lean that you can sprinkle just a little bit of fun money on. Take the 2.5 points with UL Lafayette against UAB on the road Friday night. That is a game that right now I see these teams deadlocked even, and I mean even. So if you want to give the home field, give a point to UAB. But UAB has made too many careless mistakes for me to back them in any situation at this moment. And UL Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns, they're battle-tested, and they've gone out there and shown that they could probably hang with anybody. And this will be a team that come the end of October or end of November, people are still going to be talking about. So another team that I think is a live dog that could win outright on the road. So just for fun money purposes, I'll put the 2.5 points in my pocket and take them as an underdog as well. So that's it for today. Underdogs are rolling nicely. We had 2 underdog winners on Sunday. Both of our underdogs in the NFL cashed on the Washington Redskins plus 2, as well as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trouncing Green Bay outright. So let's keep the underdogs rolling. We're going to do this again tomorrow. On Wednesday, we will also have plays looking ahead towards the weekend. Thursday, Friday, we may do the same thing, but also have games that are going on that day. So we'll keep it going. Go to chasewins.com, jump on a package, get the 7 for $70 if you want to. Get something longer term. If you want to get something a month or longer or a full season, send me an email, chase@chasewins.com, and I'll toss you a coupon code to help you out with the price. And then we'll get right back on it. Be on the lookout for some big rated top plays coming later this week. And there is a daily top play for Tuesday in the World Series game. Don't miss out. chasewins.com. I love you guys, and I'll see you back for Wednesday.